Good evening and welcome to Thursdays with NAMI. My name is Peg Morrison. I'll be your host for the evening. I'm glad you're here. Thursdays with NAMI is our way of opening up conversations and opening up community around the topic of mental illness. Of course, NAMI stands for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. Tonight's guest is Pearlie Williams. I met her at our fall conference, NAMI North Carolina's fall conference in 2018. Just before she won the Mike Mayer Advocate of the Year Award. That was big stuff. She was having serious back pain that day. You could see it in her stride, but that didn't hold her down. She had her spirit shining through, her smile was lighting up the room. As soon as we started talking, the day we met, it felt like we were friends. Tonight, she'll be sharing her story with us, and you're in for a real treat, so I'm glad you're here. As usual, the first part of our show will be an interview with our super guest, Pearlie Williams. About halfway through, we'll show our video of the week. Then we'll spend time answering questions from you, our virtual studio audience, and Facebook friends. Now, quickly, a word from our sponsors. Thursdays with NAMI is funded in part by the North Carolina Division of Mental Health, Developmental Disabilities, and Substance Abuse Services through the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. That's all part of the Federal Community Mental Health Services Block Grant Fund. We're so grateful for their guidance and support. Now, without further ado, Pearlie Williams is an advocate and a speaker with NAMI Orange County's In Our Own Voice presentation program. She's overcome severe child abuse and the substance use and mental health challenges that tend to follow. A charismatic speaker who has experience with incarceration. She's really good at reaching folks who are in that situation now. She's been to jails and prisons, sharing her story and making a difference that way, and in many other ways, which you'll be hearing about soon. Welcome, Pearlie.
Thank you so very much for having me. Hello, everyone.
Yeah. So we always like to know the backstory of folks who join us here on the show. Tell us your story in a nutshell.
I came from a very dysfunctional family where my mom drank and my father did too. He was a quiet drunk. My father was a quiet drunk, but my mother was one of those kind of people that, let's just say I was the runt that got the brunt of all the things that happened in the house. If something went wrong, I was to blame. And my sisters, because I'm the oldest out of four. So if my other three sisters did something, I was the person that always got the backhand, popped in the mouth, cracked on the skull, pushed down, shoved in the closets, beaten with drop cords, scalded with hot water. Things of that nature happened in the household. It was always something for my mom to come into the house and see something wrong, and I'm the first person that she looked at, because according to her, I should have known better while she was out doing her thing, and my father would take his own sweet time and try to keep her away from us, especially from me, from trying to dehumanize and try to literally murder me, because many days when she was beating me, she would often tell me, "I hate you, you black, ugly," all these foul names. And as I grew up, I began to not feel so good about me. A portion of the backstory is that she showed me how to look at myself in a negative way. But it took so many other people along the way to show me how powerful, how beautiful, and how amazing I am. I never seen it. I never heard it from people that, as I grew up, I never heard it. It didn't register with me then. As a little girl, it just didn't register, because I always have, memories and thoughts that what she said was law. Whatever she said, it's what she said, and she meant what she said. And from foster home to foster home, getting molested by people that I didn't know, being raped by family members that it never got told, or I got hushed or thrown up under the rug, or just, the look, the church look, you better not say nothing, that look, or like, how you doing? And if somebody was to say something, Pearlie, how you get that mark? What happened to your back? And I get home and I got more scars or more bruises or more verbal abuse. And growing up thinking that was just normal. That's just how it was, for me. But to watch, some of my other sisters get everything, and to see that there was partiality going on in the household. So it was what it was. And on many a day, I had to swallow a whole lot of stuff. And it hurt to watch my sisters receive that which I never did. It hurt to watch how some of my sisters were patronized, and I never was. So I'm grateful to the pain of the life of the background, but it's never easy and it's never pretty to swallow. It's never pretty to look at, but I do, to be a reminder of where I never want to go back to.
So you've had to do a lot of work to get to a point where you speak so eloquently about all that you've been through, and to be someone who's really an inspiration for others, even though you've gone through the ringer. What does mental health mean to you today? And I guess I want to back up and thank you for your courage for surviving all that you've survived, and for sharing it and being willing to help other people with that.
Wow, I'm sitting here now trying to hold back tears, because you just took me back to a space that I try not the in our own voice we call it the dark days. So I'm trying my best to move forward to now, to what mental health means to me now. It means living and never having to go, never having to go back. Y'all
Still, Peg ruins it for you.
Yeah, y'all excuse me. I apologize. But it means so much to me just to be where I am. Woo. And I'm grateful because I have a peace of mind today. I got joy today because if it hadn't have been for what I have now with NAMI and before NAMI, there was a piece that they got me where I am now, and it is called Job Start. I met an amazing woman by the name of Dr. Alice Snow. Oh my God. And I'm thankful to her because she first told me, Pearlie, you need to go get diagnosed because you have bipolar. And I was like, who the hell she thinks she talking to? Point blank, because I'm thinking that she didn't know what she was saying. But through the program of Job Start, I began to understand that she did know what she was talking about. She did understand. She sees what she sees and she knows what she knows. I've known this woman 20 years and she's got, y'all like to meet her. That's who I would like to see sitting here in this chair tonight. She's an amazing, amazing woman. Dr. Alice Snow is not a joke. She tells it like it is, and she helps pull out the best in the women that she facilitates. Now, in regards to how I met her, that's an amazing thing, because I love the fact that I was not chosen in the first round, but I got called in on the second, and they asked me, was I ready for recovery? And I was like, yeah. And I had people that was in honor grade that was saying, you ain't ready. Pearlie, you ain't ready. You're not ready to recover. You're not ready to go back out there. Well, 2.5 years being in prison, I think you would be ready to do something different. And they told me I shouldn't go back because they had a mentor that told me, no, you shouldn't go back to Durham. But I kept feeling this call to come back to Durham, and I didn't understand why. So, I got some promises from my faith factor, and and I ended up back in Durham. But Dr. Alice Knowles, she told me point blank, Pearlie, go get a diagnosis. You have bipolar. And I was like, she don't know what she talking about. She's a drunk. She don't know nothing. She don't, but she knew exactly what she was saying. And it was true. So when I went to get a diagnosis up on 9th Street, Dr. Daniels, he said, Pearlie, you got bipolar. And I was like, yeah, you drunk too. Oh, everybody drunk. And nobody was right. But everybody was right because they had it pinpointed, because there were certain questions that I had to answer in order to get the medication. And so the medication kept me, doing what it was doing. And at that time, the boyfriend I had, he said, I can't use you like this. You stay asleep all the time, sleeping, slobbering. I don't need no woman that can't work in my house. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. So after a while, eventually we broke up, of course, because you're not going to tell me about what I can and cannot do, and I don't like the verbal abuse anyway, because it reminded me of where my childhood, came from. It's so much more between that and what I just said. But those years, Dr. Knowles, she took apart so many of those years and helped me place what needs to be placed. Dr. Knowles is one of those women that I tell you the truth, that runs up there with the Smith, David and Dorothy Smith. She runs up there with them. They helped me. It really, really has helped me. And my mental health state now is just so over the top because of the people that have been planted in my life. And I tell anybody now, if you really want to find out where your mental health status is, or your youth, where you think that you are, your actual circle. Just start asking your circle. I had to ask somebody out there, how you think I'm doing mentally? And they were like, you need to learn the rest just a little bit more, Miss Williams. And I was like, you know what, you about right. But I've got too much on my plate to do right now. So I continue to keep doing what I do because I can see the people that need the help. And my mental health means everything to me, because if I'm not healthy, the people that I'm trying to help, they can't get help because I'm not helped. That's where I'm at with all this. Yeah.
Pearlie, you mentioned David and Dorothy Smith. Who are they to you?
Oh, that's my go-to team. Those are my parents. Those are my I adopted them. They are my Caucasian adopted parents. And David is actually the former president of NAMI, North Carolina, and my mom and Dorothy, I'm telling you, oh my God, oh, that little woman in her 80s, beautiful as ever. I call her the hummingbird lady, the silver hummingbird lady. She's amazing. And they are the first people that I went after I left the boyfriend. They were the first couple I went to live with. And I stayed in their basement. I lived in their basement for 3 years before I got back on my own. Because and the first time it was the second time I had a mental health crisis. I was sick, and I did not know after that long, because I was with the young man for 8 years. And after the breakup, I was mentally somewhere else, because I know after I broke up with Mr. Williams, I cried for a whole year. I literally cried every day. And during that period of time, David must have seen, they must knew something was wrong.
And how did you meet David?
They were actually on the board of NAMI Durham.
Okay.
That's why I met them. And I watched them. I said, God, I just love their spirit, that the way they looked at each other, there with the closeness. And it wasn't so much they would hold hands and stuff. It was just something that you could see, and you could just see it. Mm-hmm. The love and the admiration that they had for each other. And I said, if I ever grow old and gray, I want that right now. I want that kind of stuff. And I looked and I kept watching for a whole year before I asked them. I wanted to adopt them as my parents.
I love that.
Yeah, and I watched them and I watched them and I was like, I just love them. They are amazing people. And I went to live, I became her housekeeper. I wanted to do her floors and all that stuff first. And I had keys, and I was like, wow. Because on Saturdays, that's what every other Saturday, that's what I would do. And she would take people into her home and help them get on their feet and send them on their way. And that's what David and Dorothy did at that time. I don't think they're doing it now, but at that time, they had a full basement. And I mean to tell you, wow, what a house that was on Shepherd Street. And I'm thankful. I just wish they had kept the house and get somebody else to run the house so they could make a little money, but nevertheless, it was awesome living with them. And it was quite challenging. A little Black girl living in the basement with them white folk, over in Forest Hills, and that's what my daughter dropped me off at. And she says, you're a lonely old lady and you're going to be a lonely old lady. And I was like, I don't think so. So when, all that stuff had went down with the former boyfriend and my daughter dropped me off there and some things started happening and I began to cry and all this stuff. But David and Dorothy, they have been like the rock of Gibraltar in my life. Oh my God. I can't say enough about those two. They're just amazing. Like Dr. Noel, just surely amazing.
So just to summarize, you had this very, very rough start, really beaten down as a child. And then you got into, like many, many people, trying to avoid the pain with partying and some substance use, ended up incarcerated at some point. And then slowly the tide started to turn. You found people who were supportive. You found NAMI, you found the Smiths, and you started moving forward and telling your story. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, just about right. But you left out a whole lot of stuff. But nevertheless, it's probably going to be in the book I'm going to write later on. And I'm just flabbergasted at how the process has been from then until now. Because as I sit here, and I was thinking about this on yesterday, and I was like, I have to write a book. I have to, because it's so much ups, downs, changes, turnarounds, meeting people, dissing people killed, people dying. I'm walking out on people walking out on me. This is the cycle of life. And my cycle has not been pretty. Things have happened. I mean, things really have happened. But I'm grateful for every piece of pain. I'm grateful for every misdiagnosis. I'm grateful for just for people in general just telling me, Pearlie, you ain't worth nothing. I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for when people slammed doors in my face and people walked out on me. I'm grateful for when somebody would tell me I'm just a lonely old lady. Yeah, I'm thankful. I'm so thankful. Because I'm at the happiest stage of my life because I live on my own. I pay my own bills now. I don't know how many of y'all got your own 501c3, you're doing your own application, but this sister is getting ready to do some dangerous things for some queens in her community. And that's what I want to do. I want to see people empowered, that they'll never have to go back to the memories of bad times, hard times of being beat with a drop cord, scalded with hot water, drinking poison like I had to when I was a little girl and living over in Bluefield. And I never had, they don't have to go through all that hell anymore. I don't want to see anybody else or nobody else in the planet Earth or up under the sounds of my voice to feel like you're by yourself, because you're not by yourself in this thing. I'm right along with you. I feel you. I get you. I got you. Prison wasn't a picnic. Living with a parent that had a undiagnosed mental health issue is not a picnic. And even having family members that have mental health issues and still not acknowledge that they do, because they live in it silently. And you don't have to be silent anymore. There's no more There's no more sticking your hand down your throat. You don't have to go without food, and you don't have to go without speaking your piece or speaking your own truth. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody that knows how to say, okay, I'm sick. I need some help. Will somebody help me? Will somebody please help me? David and Dorothy Smith, help me. Dr. Alice Noel, help me. Because I was tired of living in a box or feeling like I was all boxed up all by myself. Or I couldn't say nothing, or telling lies in school about when somebody hit me, or I got a mark on my face, my nose broke, or lips bloody. I don't have to lie now. I ain't got nobody telling me, Pearlie, you shouldn't say this or you shouldn't say that. I'm gonna say my truth, whether they like it or not. There's more to come for me in the years to come, y'all. Y'all better believe that. Because somebody has to have the guts to say, Peg, somebody got to say it. Somebody has to take off the mask and say, okay, damn, this is what it is. Mm-hmm. Somebody, I learned this in Job Start. Dr. Alice Noel, she helped me remove the mask. She really helped me.
You are speaking for a whole lot of people out there who haven't found their voice yet. And that's, I really honor that. I really respect that. And so many people do. Comments from the chat box. Thank you for sharing your empowering story. You're amazing and you bring so much to others. That's from Diane. Patricia Johnson from Job Corps. Thank you for sharing your life with us. Yeah. Program is an example of courage. It's helping me get past fear. So you're making a difference right here, right now. And
wow.
And I know you have in the past. Thank you for your testimony and your strength. We can all gain power from your story. Regina King, proud of you. So, my goodness, a lot of wonderful things. Amen. My voice counts. I'm very proud of you, Pearlie, from Whitney. And the first one was from Linda. So lots of wonderful comments to you. You're doing what you wanted to do. Now, when you go out and share your story, you've shared stories with people who are currently incarcerated, with people who are going through the ringer now. What do you want them to take away from your story?
I want them to understand that they can do this even through tears. And I know it's not going to be easy. It's not when you come out, especially when you come out of the joint and you got your skin color back, your hair back, your nails back, your butt big, you're feeling all good on the inside, like you can conquer the world. Guess what? You can. But one thing I want you to take this story and remind yourself, don't go back to them same playgrounds. Don't go back behind them same people unless you are called by God to do it. Otherwise, it's going to be a no-go. It really is. It will destroy your purpose and your plan if you go back and not called to go back. I realize now I was called to come back to Durham. But what I want y'all to take away from this story this evening is that anybody can fall down, but it takes a whole community of people to pick that one person up. If and when he or she is reaching out to you, I reached out. I got the help. I was determined to get the help, and I was determined to stay in the helping lane so that I could be a help to somebody else who felt helpless or felt like they was not worthy enough. Today I'm worthy, and I realized just how worthwhile my time is and how valuable I am to other people. And I want to just tell NAMI, North Carolina, thank you, just for having me here today to do what I have to do, because I could have been home working on my book. Nevertheless, I'm thankful just to be here. But take away from this that anytime you feel like you want somebody to talk to, call me. I'm available. I don't mind. Sometimes I answer my phone. Sometimes I don't, because I'm working on a very large project. But I'm here, and I just want y'all to know that you have to have a support group around you. You got to have somebody that believes in you. You have to. It's mandatory that you do, because if you don't, some of us will fall through the cracks. I can do this by myself. You can't do it by yourself. You need a whole community and a group, a support group, like the Davis and the Dorthers and the Toms and the Bart Mayers and the Dr. Alan Noel and the Jackie Anderson and the Tanya Basses and the Dorothy Unions and those kind of people that support me. So yeah, and my pastor, I love you, Dr. Regina King. You got to believe, and you have to believe in the person that you're supporting, and the people that support me, they believe in me. And I believe, above all, I believe in God for planting the people that is in my life now. Without it, I can't do this. That's my hats off to them. You know,
Yeah.
they pray. I'm a product of what they pray for. Yeah.
So clearly relationships have been a big part of your recovery and telling your story. Were there any other defining moments?
Yeah. One of the most defining moments was when I got out of prison, and I couldn't reach anybody. And it was just me and the streets. And I had a choice. I really had a choice. Either to go back to smoking the dope or stand where I was and go through the storm. I chose to go through the storm because if I went back to smoking the dope, I knew right then and there, I said, I'm gonna die. I'll die if I go back. And I could actually feel the pull to go back. And I struggled with that for a while. But I said, no, if I go back to the block, that's it. I'm gonna end up in the clock. I ain't want to end up in Scarborough's clock. I ain't want to end up there. So what I did was.
Can you tell me what you didn't want to end up where?
In the clock. Your name ends up in the clock of when you get funeralized, your name is in the clock. Who died? This funeral home was Scarborough is one of the famous funeral homes in Durham.
Gotcha,
and in the clock, in the clock, there's the people that they're getting ready to bury. I didn't want my name to end up there. So so it was either the block or the clock. So I was like, neither one. I'm gonna stand here and go through the storm. And that's what I did. And there are many days I still have a defining moment where I have to face the storm. Every day, some days. Yeah, every day, some days. So I'm grateful just for being who I am, where I am now. But there are some days I don't want to do nothing. I don't even want to call you. And I do it anyway, just to hear your voice. So.
Well, someone's talking about there are angels everywhere, and Pearlie, you're one of them. That's Barb Myers.
Oh,
I'm going to agree with that. What do the storms look like today? Just that fatigue, that I can't do anything feeling?
It's empty. It's raining. I'm crying. I'm rocking backwards and forward. My phone is ringing off the hook. I got to put on my big girl panties and put on a pretty face and my happy voice. And before I answer the phone, my voice is cracking, and somebody on the other end who knows me will say, okay, Pearlie, off with the mask. What's really going on? And I'm like, oh, I'm okay. I'm fine. No, you ain't. What's up? Do I need to come up there? Because I live on the ninth floor of J.J. Henderson Towers. Do I need to come up there to apartment 924? Do I need to do that? Don't make me, Pearlie. What's really? And I have to, take a deep breath and just demask and just tell it. Because the person that's on the other end of the phone, they know something ain't right. Oh, I'm fine today. How are you? No, baby, what's really going on? And I love it when my people do that for me. They can pick it and they know it by the spirit. And not just because I got a happy voice. Like, I'm pretty sure I'll probably get some calls this evening, like, girl, yeah, but I got to do what I got to do in order to make sure that the people get the proper message. That Pearlie is not perfect. There are days I just feel like I want to roll up and boo and just cry. So.
Well, I think you're right. And by being authentic and vulnerable, you're letting people know it's okay.
It is okay. It really is okay. I mean, like I said, I got a great big project, and some days I like to take my computer and throw it across the room, but I dare not do it because I got so much stuff on my hard drive. So I commend anybody that say, I can't do this today, and don't do it, and go back to bed and shut their curtains and go back to bed. Because on Monday, please do not call me Monday, because I will be sleeping. Please do not call me Monday. I'm turning off my phone. If you don't have a key to my house, you will not get in. I'm not answering my phone. I'm telling you now. I have a big weekend ahead of me. No, ma'am. Please do not call me. Call me Tuesday. I will answer. But on Monday, don't call me.
All right, fair enough. Message received. Tell us about your award for advocacy.
Oh, you mean this thing right here?
That's the one.
That's it. Oh my, what an honor. Well, let me just tell you about my father. He called me. He says, Pearlie, you got to go with us to Greensboro. And I said to myself, I ain't going no damn well. I think I'm gonna just stay home because I'm hurting. My back was hurting. I was taking, I went to the street and got some Percocet. I went to the street and got me a Percocet from somebody in the hood that sold their Percocet and Oxycontin. So I went and got me some Percocet. I think I went and got about 4 for $15. I sure did. And I was hurting. And I said, look, and some just said, Pearlie, you just put your clothes on, because he was persistent about me going. Nobody said nothing to me. And come to find out, a lady by the name of Jessica Martinez had nominated my name for this award. I didn't know. I wasn't thinking, because I do a lot, even in my pain, helping people, even while I'm in pain, I do that, because I remember when it was me up under the bridge, having to go from one man to another, having somewhere to sleep, trying to find food to eat, and, homeless, and, one thing I led after another. So I understood. So when I got the call, I said, okay, Dad, I'll go. I'm like, I'm just complaining, So I went on ahead and went, not knowing. And somebody whispered to me, you come in to win an award. What damn award? Instead, no award. I said, advocacy. I mean, what? Don't people just automatically just help people because they have a love for people? Don't they just do this thing just because it's not just something to do, but it's the right thing to do? No, people don't do it because some people want to do it for show. And Jessica saw for years, I went, because I did it even without asking for anything in return. I don't want anything for it. I just want to see people to get up and stand on their own 2 feet, doing homelessness, voice their opinion, have strength enough to go to the VA or wherever they need to go to get the help, and stand there and make sure that they get what they need. And don't take no for an answer, because they have the resources to get it done. Let's get it done. There was one particular time I went to, I joined this committee, the ASAC, the Homeless Service Advisory Committee, and I brought some veterans up in there. And oh, baby, they had a ball. So anyway, this award lets me know that what you do in the dark, it'll come to the light. And I was doing it up in the dark for so many years. I did it, not even knowing, not even caring about an award such as this. But when I won it, Mike Marriott, his wife, said, this award is for the unsung hero. And I'm like, I don't care about me having a song or sung whatever. I just do it because it's the right thing to do. Helping people that don't have a voice, helping people up on the bridges. You see somebody about to snap, lose it, pull your car to the side. Not just say a quick prayer, but reach out and lend a helping hand. It's not hard to do. I don't have a car. I do not drive. Let's get that straight now. I see it all the time on the bus, at the bus station, walking out to the homeless shelter, just walking in community, looking at people, walking to the store, just walk or taking a walk within my own neighborhood. It's mandatory that you begin to get to know your people that in your surroundings and find out who is who. If a mother is struggling, this award lets me know that I've done all that. This award lets me know that there's so much more to being just not a woman of color that struggled with mental health and incarceration and being free for over 20 years. It's so much more that we can do as a community. And I feel like I haven't done enough. In 2008, when is it, 2018, when I won this award, I feel I don't deserve it because it is what it is, but I just do this because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do.
I can't think of a better reason, and I'm glad that you got recognized for your work. And this is kind of related. How was faith part of your recovery?
Man, without Jesus Christ, I couldn't make it. I tell anybody this. I have a faith base now, and even 20 years ago, it's kicking up a notch every year. The closer I get, because I'm 60 now. That's right, fabulous in 60. So I thank God that I have a faith, something to hold on to while this world is being chaotic, in the middle of COVID, in the middle of a crisis such as this, when people are dropping like flies around me. Even when I feel like I want to get up and just rock backwards and forward on the behalf of somebody that's sleeping up under the bridge that's less than 50 yards from me. And they choose to sleep up under the bridge, but I choose to live in housing, even if it's public housing. I'm grateful for my faith because my faith covers me. My faith keeps me. My faith talks to me. My faith walks with me. Even when I feel like medication doesn't. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So my faith is my everything. It is the very breath that I breathe, because without the Lord Jesus Christ covering me with his shield and his rod and his word, I cannot make this journey. It's impossible. I wouldn't dare do it. Mm-hmm. Dr. Alice Noah had one particular verse, and I got it on my pill. I got chosen when I went last year to Delaware to a women's conference. It's Jeremiah 29:11. He said, I know the plans I have for you. Mm. And I'm like, you know the plans you got for me? Yeah, Pearlie, I know the plans I have for you. And then I had to couple that with Genesis 12:2-3. And it talks about my name being great. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah, right. You don't know you're talking to an ex-crackhead here. You're talking to an ex-prostitute here, a gunslinger here. Come on now, God, But my faith is so strong now that I know that his word is true. His promise is held out for me. When man's word was like, nah. But God's word for me is just phenomenal, because I can't move without it. I wouldn't dare take this journey without the faith in what I have in the Lord Jesus the Christ. I wouldn't dare. It's impossible. I can't do this. And without faith-filled people, Bob, Tom, David, Dorothy, Felicia McPherson, Jackie Anderson, Tanya Bass, Dorothy Union, I can't make this journey without a circle of people that are filled with faith, that fuse my faith even the more. It's impossible. Dr. Alice, no, I can't do it without these people. It's impossible. I wouldn't dare take this journey. I wouldn't dare. And continue to keep doing what I do. If you take my faith, just take my life. Bottom line.
Wow. And that courage and that intensity really comes through, that you can be so striking and so honest and put it out there. And that is really inspiring as someone who has also experienced trauma and been through some things, and some stuff I put out, mostly the sanitized version. But I'm really inspired, and I'm working on a book too, but that's a whole nother story. Pearlie, you look younger than 60 from Diane. Thanks for sharing your words of wisdom and your willingness to share your truth and help others. Susan Henson of Pharaoh's Daughter. Our women have similar backgrounds as you, Pearlie. And she's got a question which we're going to take after during our Q&A with the audience. But Pharaoh's Daughter works with pregnant, incarcerated women and their babies, and they help them back on their feet. Thank you for that, Susan. It sounds like you're doing wonderful work.
Yes,
and
yes.
I appreciate that. And Amritari, who nominated you for the award. Yay, Pearlie, I'm here for you. So
Yes.
wow, you got some friends out there. Another question, you've touched on this a little bit, and after this, we'll shift to the next part of the show and take your questions, virtual studio audience members and Facebook folks. So you've talked a little bit about discrimination, and there's stigma against folks who have any kind of mental health challenge or addiction challenge. There's stigma, there's discrimination and racism and hate on the topic of people of color. What have you dealt with, and how have you dealt with it?
Man, being pushed to the back of the line, folk telling you, I'm gonna call you Miss Pearlie. You're just a wonderful little old lady. I wanted to apply for a cleaning job.
Cleaning job?
Because a cleaning job. And somebody that was on staff knew me, and I overheard the conversation. You don't want to hire her, she one of them crazy people. She take medication.
Ooh.
And I was like, here's my application. And I saw her at the corner of my eye take my application and take it up under the desk. And she forgot she had plexiglass in front of her legs, and take it in the garbage can sitting there. And she took the application, and she took my application and came and turned back around for the next person. And I looked, I said, okay, okay. So this is what people, get. Is this how I'm being treated? And so I called the big boss the next day and said, no, I never received your application.
Wow.
I never received. So that's the kind of thing I've had to endure on more than one occasion. So that was one of the reasons I started, digging in, learning how to do a 501c3, find out what I really was good and what I wanted to do. So, I'm in right in the middle of doing 501c3. So, yeah.
And so for folks who might not know, a 501c3 is the legal code for a nonprofit. So Pearlie's working on her own nonprofit organizations to use her experiences to help others. So tell me a little bit about the STAR program at the Durham County Jail.
Hey, that's where I met the wonderful Jackie Anderson. With Jackie Anderson, we met me because she knew me when I was a girl going through all that stuff, when my mom was hanging me from a tree naked, beat me, all that stuff from childhood. And but the STAR program is one of those programs that I took when I was incarcerated. And it's a 12-week program for those that suffer with substance abuse issues and mental health. They just recently added the mental health piece. So, and they started addressing the mental health piece actually. So I was a speaker for the STAR program. And for many years, over 5 years, every month, faithfully. The STAR program gives people an opportunity to recover, find out why the drugs did what they did. Are they willing to give up the drugs? Are they ready to give up the drugs? And one of the pieces of the STAR program, they'll even ask you to write a letter of goodbye to your drug of choice.
Wow, that's clever.
Yeah, clever. And I love the late Miss Helen, and Rita, and Larry McGill. I'm thankful for all these wonderful people. The STAR program is is a program where you can have a restart in your own recovery and become the star of your recovery. And that's where I look at it. They bring in different people from the community to talk about the different aspects of recovery, TROSA, NAMI, whatever is available. And NAMI was faithful because I was adamant about going to that jail. I was adamant about it because I was like, I just can't let them, I can't let them not go back and not know that there's somebody else out there like them. Because I wanted to let them know them, I don't drive, but I see you on the bus. I hear your conversations, you hear mine. I'm watching you walk, you watching me. And I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. But if I'm slipping and dipping, and tripping, I want you to pull my coattail. And I want to be able to do the same. But the STAR program gives you choices.
And so that's available to the women in the jail, and you were
women and men in the jail. Yeah, women and men in the jail. And I'll be glad when we can get back to the Durham County Jail and or up to the Wake County Jail. And I wish they had that same program within the Wake County Jail, but they don't have it here. I mean, have it here in Raleigh. And I don't understand why. What seems to be the problem? It's not like, and I hate for y'all to say it's money. Stop blaming money. What about the manpower? I understand about the manpower. We'll give the people the money that they deserve so they can work, so people can start recovering instead of putting them in jail. You know, once they get in jail, give them give them the process of recovery, give them the hope of recovery. This is what I can understand about Wake County. I don't understand it, you know, so, but anyway. Yeah.
I can't speak to that, but I do see a note from Anthony Scott. Thanks, Pearlie, for always being there for residents of the Durham Housing Authority. Truly appreciate your continued advocacy. So
Anthony, I just love him. You know, it is what it is, and I just love him because, you know, like I said, I live in J.J. Henderson Towers, and we up in the process of being renovated, and I'm listening to residents go through what they go through. I'm listening to people do all kinds of, it's the first of the month. We just had some hot dogs, some potato chips, and some music downstairs. And, you know, it's bad when people are so locked up in addiction, even at an older age, that you can't come out your room or your apartment because you're so locked in your room smoking crack, or so busy trying to get somebody else's money at the first of each month. You know, it bothers me, man, that we see people go through this stuff and they won't ask for help because they're so ashamed that somebody else don't know their business. You know, I'm at the stage in my life, I don't give a kitty about you knowing my business. If you see I'm dying, help me out if you got a lifeline. Help me out. You know, and many people don't want help. I see it. I see it at J.J. Henderson all the time. I see it, and they don't want no help. They like being stuck on stupid. And some people, you know, by us merging with CCI, you know, we have to pull each other's coattail. I really want to see some stuff come about with the new program. Anthony, I want to see some new stuff come up where we can start developing not just a RMC, no, but a resident advocacy panel where people will feel comfortable about going to somebody and say, I know you ain't gonna tell my business, but will you give me I need some help. Can you help me? I'm up there on the 9th floor. I've got about 4 or 5 people, sometimes 3, 4 in a month, in the middle of the night, ring my phone, Miss Pearlie, could you come down here and just pray for me?
Wow, well, you're clearly in demand. Let's take a quick moment to pivot, and we've got a lot of questions I see both in the chat box. Please put them in the Q&A. It's much easier for me to make sure that we get your question answered. If you could put your question in the Q&A, that would help me out a lot. We're going to go, well, before we move to our video of the week, I want to give a big shout out to those working behind the scenes, including Patience Gregg, our mental health intern, and Executive Director Gary Kreitz, who's here just about every week. Of course, thanks most of all to Pearlie for spending your evening and you're sharing your story with us. You've really inspired a lot of people on the show and just in your life before this, clearly. For our next video, I really like this take on recovery for our Black women. And I thought this was kind of a unique way of expressing it. They put different perspectives together.
Healing to me is love, joy, and peace within myself. Healing to me is also the ability to be able to speak confidently and boldly about who I am and what I believe. Healing to me is precious. Healing to me is an amazing and beautiful journey.
Healing means to me the ability to look within yourself, to understand that you can complete any task that you set your mind to, even when you're challenged. Healing means to me the ability to fight even when you feel like you have nothing left. Healing means to me saying no. Healing means to me saying yes.
Healing means acknowledging you have a wound, but not allowing that wound to control your life. It also means caring for the wound, even if that means leaving it alone, giving it air, giving it time to heal on its own.
Healing is making myself happy without relying on someone else to do it for me.
Healing means being vulnerable. And vulnerability, not in a sense of crying or being able to hug someone, but really being able to have intimate, honest relationships with yourself and with those that you love. Continue evolving, continue growing, and continue learning. That is the definition of healing for me as a Black woman.
All righty. So we have a wonderful voice here tonight, and we've had some wonderful voices in the video. So next we're going to take your questions, members of the virtual studio audience and people on Facebook who are joining us. I'm glad you're all here. And if you're new to Zoom, you might be wondering how to ask a question. You want to go for that little Q&A icon in the bottom left of your monitor. Click on that, type your question, and magically it will appear to us. Okay, so please share what you are doing for self-care from Diane.
Baby, y'all forgive me, but I got a boyfriend. Hey, so I guess you know what that goes. And
Go Pearlie.
yeah, yeah, good sex is always good. So, and you know, we trying to Pastor don't spank me, but you know, I'm thankful that eventually down the road when he can convince me that marriage is going to be the best thing for us, and I'm like, we contemplating some stuff, but right now anyway. The music, I love neo soul music, bubble baths, long walks, silence, reading the Word of God, and learning how to apply it every single day on my life. Because some days I apply it, some days I don't, and some days I'm good at it, and some days I'm not. You know, that's just being honest. You know, I have my up days and down days with self-care. And self-care sometimes means like on Monday, this coming Monday, that means turning off the phone and taking the covers, closing the curtains and taking the covers and go to sleep. For me, that's good self-care, making sure that I talk to my doctor, take my medication, doing what I have to do, you know, because it's that self-care is about me. It ain't about someone else. And some self-care sometimes mean me telling other people, no, I can't do it. Or I have to pass this on to someone else because that's too taxing for me, too mentally taxing for me. And I've had to do that here lately a lot because some stuff is just too much for me. So I don't do it. I don't say yes to stuff that I mean no to. For me, that's self-care.
I like that. Sometimes it's saying no and sometimes it's saying yes. So any advice on talking about fear or dealing with fear, specifically fear that another mental health crisis may come for a loved one or for myself?
Oh, I've had to deal a lot with that particular piece here lately. When I
Thank
see
you for
the
that question, by the way.
when I see the signs, because I got a young lady that I'm dealing with, because she just got out of prison and she went into crisis because it was so overwhelming for her. She just got out of prison, she went into crisis, and now she's on her way out on Wednesday or Thursday this coming week. And I have a fear in my heart because she has to go back to a sticky, sick environment that got her sick and incarcerated from the beginning. And I'm scared. And I'm really, any 2 times you're around a bunch of drugs and guns, and that's where you come from. And that's what got you in trouble to start with. That's kind of hard. And right now she feels like she doesn't have any other choice. Yeah, it's sticky. And fear is one of those normal things that you have for someone else, but even they are scared. And especially when they are afraid. And I'm trying my best to help her to move or to get another place. I wish I could take her to my house, but I can't. To keep from her going backwards, from going to another crisis. So that's a good question, and it's tedious. It's hard when you watch people go backwards and forward into things of this nature and see them fight fear and fight through the fear of going through a crisis or going back to another situation of incarceration. So it's hard. It's a good question, but it's a hard question. So I want to just say thank you for giving me food for thought about how do I deal with that every day, some days, maybe no days. Thank you. And I hate I could not answer it more accurately because I really hadn't thought about it. But thank you.
Yeah, that is a really hard one to
It
answer.
is.
For me personally, since I've struggled as well, sometimes a mantra is helpful. Some people say the serenity prayer over and over to calm themselves down. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. If it's a compulsive thought for me, it's okay to have that thought now and in the future. That calms me down. Just trying to throw out a little more and see what sticks. How can one contact Pearlie Williams for future sharing her story with African American community members? I can connect you with Pearlie. Huh?
Yeah, they need to call Barb. They don't need to call me. Please don't call me, but call Barb Mayer. And she will, or either call you, Peg. Call NAMI North Carolina, call Peg Morrison, call Bob Mayer, call Tanya Bass. I know she hates that, but I tell them to call anybody but me. Just don't call me. And let Barb set that stuff up. And I'll be glad to come. More than happy. Like I said, this coming up week, it's like this weekend, I've got a training. After tonight, I'm going home. I'm going to lie down and listen to some neo soul with the Black woman. And I'm going to turn on my radio, and I'm just going to go up to La La Land, because I know tomorrow at 4:00 I got to be back up and doing what I do. But yeah, just call Bob Mayer or either Peg. They can hook you up, and they'll get in contact with me. Because I got, like I said, I got a crazy schedule, but nevertheless, either one.
In a nutshell, NAMI North Carolina or NAMI Orange County. If you're going to Google something, NAMI North Carolina or NAMI Orange County, just reach out and we will connect you to Pearlie. Thank you for that question. And the next one, do certain mental illnesses make people tired all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that certain mental illness, it's the medication and the effects of the medication. Like I know when I first started taking my medication, I was just like, some medication I was taking, I slept all the time. I was tired all the time. that's when I realized that I needed another supplement to go with that medication. Yeah, it's not the mental illness, it's the medication. And that's what I believe. I mean, everybody's different. Everybody's different. Everybody handles, their medication, their body works with their chemistry different. So don't blame it on the mental health issue, but blame it on the medication. So yeah, there's some people that can handle it and don't get tired. And some people like me, I get tired real easy, real fast. And when I run on, and when I'm real high, real high, and I come out, crash, and I burn after maybe a month. I can run for about a month. Do for about a month, maybe two. And then when I crash and burn, I'm dead. I'm dog tired. With medication or without medication, especially when I go without it. And I've tried that. I did it just as an experiment, just to see how my body would react without medication and what would happen. Now I know I can't go without the medication. I could. So my doctors and I now, we're talking about herbal. This is not for everybody. Herbal things, yoga, relaxations, things of that nature. Because I'm trying my best to come off that pill form, because I have seen some changes in my own body behind that pill form. I said, now that's just not for everybody. That's just for Miss Pearlie. It was working for me. So yeah, there are certain mental health medications that will definitely make you tired.
Yeah, I believe that's a symptom of depression as well. A lot of wanting to sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of good answers there. And what is your church doing to support mental health advocacy?
The church, the Dr. Rhonda Royal Hatton and her crew, they actually took the mental health first aid course. They actually took it. And I was like, yes. And that was my former church, Dr. Rhonda Royal Hatton at Celebrations. They took the course. I was like, yes, thank you. Because she caters a lot to the LGBTQ community and the people that suffer with mental health issues. She has a lot of people that are in her congregation. Now, what my pastor now is doing, maybe she can answer that, but that's Pastor Regina King. I have no idea, because I just recently got with her, so we haven't sat down and talked about any of that. So, but she knows what I bring to the table. And that's a ministry within itself. And I tell every church, not just of color, not just the Black church, but every church needs a mental health ministry in it. Every church needs to have at least 2 peer support specialists within their congregation, that when don't weigh out your pastors, calling them every day. Pastor, I don't feel good. Could you pray for me? You need somebody that can identify with you just where you are within the congregation. Get close to your people. Get to understand them, become open-minded and open-armed, and love them where they are. And if you know somebody that's in your congregation that's falling, or that's failing enough health, or you see they have a mental health issue, do not pick at them. Do not call them crazy. Help them. I dare you to help them. That's where we get strength. Iron sharpeneth iron is at. We are helpers one of another. So please don't get it twisted. That you, just because you got salvation and you have a mental health issue, don't mean that you're being demonized. So please stop it. We got to learn how to respect each other wherever we may be within the body of Christ. And that's where a lot of people get it twisted at. And that's what makes me so angry with people that are so spiritual or so religious, because they don't get it. They really just don't get it. So mental health should be really big in the Black church, white church, Jewish church, Protestant church, whatever church you're in, it should be big. And I commend anybody that decides that I want a mental health ministry in my church. If y'all need this sort of thing in your church, if you want it, call NAMI. We will be glad to help you get this thing set up so that you can help the people that are in your congregations from falling through the cracks and not go into crisis so often.
Yeah, I love that passion. I do see a note from Regina King that her church has a drug and alcohol ministry and an ex-offender ministry. So a lot of good programs going on out there. And what is the name of your church, Pearlie?
Pastor King, once again, tell us the name of the church, because I cannot remember. I can't. I mean, I just can't.
Well, it's the kind of thing where it's your landmark. You don't really have to think about that. Anyways, I'm sure it's available on Google if you look up Regina King, Pastor Regina King.
Yes.
And what is one thing that we can do to make a lasting difference in the lives of women who are incarcerated, who are pregnant and incarcerated?
What is one thing we can ask? Say that again, Peg.
What can we do to make a lasting difference in our women's lives? And that's coming from Pharaoh's Daughter. They serve women who are incarcerated and pregnant.
Take peer-to-peer. I dare you to do it. Take peer-to-peer.
And that is a NAMI class.
It is. I dare them to take it. Woo, baby. I dare you to take peer-to-peer through NAMI. I dare you'll see what I'm talking about if you take the course. I dare y'all to take it. I just dare you.
Just to be clear, NAMI peer-to-peer is an 8-week class.
Yes.
It's
oh God.
Makes a big difference. Obviously, it goes through the different diagnoses. What is mental health? What does mental illness look like? What does it feel like? How can we help ourselves? And it's very powerful. It's only for people who have a mental health challenge themselves. And another awesome resource in the chat box from Barb Mayer. Oops, I'm trying to scroll so that I can see the whole thing. Faith Connections in Chapel Hill conducts monthly faith-based meetings about serious mental illness and resources for churches. Yes. Oh yeah, Faith Connections, of course. Good point.
Good point, Barb. Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to say there are many churches that are doing good work, and we're obviously not providing an exhaustive list. This is just who's here tonight. Pearlie, do you have a favorite song? I like that one.
Do I have a favorite song? Oh God. I'm just a music lover. I'm really just a music lover. Gospel is my gospel jazz is my thing. Let me see. I forgot his name, but I was on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, I'm a gospel jazz person. Because I'm a jazzy lady. And I just I get in the bathtub and just light my candles and just kick back, with some incense and just listen to gospel jazz and just mellow away, but one of my favorite, I just thank you, Holy Ghost. God Did It. It's one of my favorite songs. Everything that happened to me that was good. Evelyn, I forgot her last name, but anyway, I heard that when I was in John Umstead. And I jumped out the van and everything that happened to me that was good, God did it. And I jumped out the van and I started shouting. And the lady started and she looked at me and she said, Pearlie, get back. And tears was just, she said, oh, I better not touch her. And I mean, and it wasn't but 4 days after I had heard that song that I got out of the mental health facility and looked at the world totally different. That was the first time I had a crisis. And I was like, I don't have to do this anymore. I don't have to do this anymore. And I was grateful. Yeah, God did it. It's by Evelyn somebody. But that's one of my favorites, the first time I heard it. Because I think about what God did for me and what he's still doing for me on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
That's what a good song does. The good song lifts you right up there.
Yeah.
So Pearlie, there's a question about how people can follow you on social media. I know you have a Facebook page. Are you
y'all
very
gonna
active
make,
on any of
y'all
those
gonna
social
make,
media?
I'm getting ready to start a community group. I really am. Y'all gonna make me do one, and I feel it coming. Tanya, get ready. I've been talking about some stuff. Felicia McPherson, you might as well get ready too. So my Facebook page is Dophia, Dophie, Shamar, Shamar. I had several other pages, which I'm getting ready to knock them down. I forgot how to erase those pages, but the most recent one is Dophia Shamar, and it should be Sophia, which is Sophia is Greek for wisdom. Shamar is Hebrew for watchman. They say I have this prophetic gift. I don't know nothing about that. I just see what I see, hear what I hear, know what I know. And I keep it moving. And I thank God for gifting me in many areas. And I thank God for having me to do what I need to do. And I said, God, help me to be more of a servant, and just to uplift people and when they're in crisis or not in crisis, or just someone outside to chill with or just to chat with. So yeah, that's how you can follow me. I don't, I ain't looking for friends and or for people to fall in love with me, and with just somebody that I could just be open and honest with. That don't wear masks, because a lot of people wear masks out there. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. So I love y'all all so very much for this. Thank you.
Just to be clear, when you say you don't wear masks, you mean like a social facade. You don't mean like a COVID-19 mask. We're safe that way.
We're safe that way, yeah. But that superficial BS, I don't have time for it.
Yeah.
I just don't have time. That's what you see here tonight is what you're gonna get every day.
Yeah.
With me. I don't know how to do that.
You're not built that way, and that's a beautiful thing.
Right. I'm not built that way. I'm just not built that way. I want people to feel comfortable around me, to share with me, and to share with the world, that's around them. I am who I am, and I don't have to be proper. No, I'm straight from the hood. You don't get it straight from the hip with me. That's how I roll.
Well, I agree with that. And yeah. So there's another question about, are you available to speak? So I'm going to repeat: contact, please, NAMI Orange County or NAMI North Carolina. We will help connect you with Pearlie. And I'm sure you'd be happy, I'm assuming, to speak with different mental health houses, since that's kind of your forte, what you're really good at.
Yeah.
Next question: does Pearlie have any stories of a particular woman in the jail whose life she changed?
Oh, that's Jackie Anderson. Hey, baby.
Well, that question actually was from Amitari, your award, the one who wrote your award application.
Yeah, that was Jackie Anderson. Jackie Anderson. And I didn't even know she was following me so hard. God, this girl, she is on my trail. She can have it all, and she told, because Jackie Anderson knew me from childhood. She knows the horridness of my childhood abuse. She watched my mom. She watched me come to school with bloody clothes stuck to my back, bloody noses, big lips. She watched all that. And now to be reintroduced to her, because I didn't know who Jackie was. She said my name and she watched me come up into that STAR program and give my story. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm saying to myself, because I done been beat to death in my head for so long. I didn't know who she was, but she remembered me. And she cried when she came to my house and she told me that she remembered me. And I'm like, how come I can't remember her? How come I can't? But she remembers the stories. She remembers the blood. And I know she remembered me telling all different kind of lies. I learned how to lie real early as a child. So lying was one of those things that God had to come in and still, break in me. So that's why I am like I am now. So because I'm through with lying. Jackie was one of those people that God used in order to help me bring back some memories that I had blocked for so many years. Yeah, Jackie Anderson was one of those people that was in the STAR program that I helped some other people, but Jackie sticks out the most to me because she connected with me and she made sure that I understood who she was. As children, we played together. I couldn't remember.
That's powerful. Thank you. This is a tough one. Any suggestions on how to tell adolescent kids that a parent needs more help to manage their mental health? The parent maybe needs inpatient help.
I can't answer it. Maybe
That's a
somebody
sticky
else.
one.
Yeah, I dare not touch it.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Why don't we suggest calling the NAMI North Carolina helpline? We have trained specialists who are really good at that kind of difficult challenge. They can point you to any resource in the area where you live. And patients, if you're there, or someone maybe, there we go. Thank you so much. Right on the spot. There's our helpline in the chat box. So please copy and paste that, or you can Google it later if that's more convenient. Call our helpline and they will help you process that and work through it. That's a very difficult question. Another kind of challenging one, are all mental illnesses passed down from a family member? I believe the data says no. I think it's a mix of nature and nurture. In other words, what you're born with genetically and also what you grew up with in your environment. So
I concur with that answer.
Yeah, that's kind of NAMI's position. We believe that mental illnesses are biological conditions that may have environmental triggers. Yeah. So you may be born with a predisposition. Lots of people in my family, for example, have depression and anxiety. And there may be a kind of a latent predisposition. In other words, it's like a software in your brain. And if you experience trauma, or if you have a head injury, or do some substances that affect your brain chemistry, then that will open the door to that mental illness for you. So it could be nature, it could be nurture.
I think it's a collaboration of both. Because I know for me, I smoked dope for so long, and when I won't high, I was manic. As long as I was high, I was cool. Because my environment was so horrid. It was just so bad. Liquor everywhere, weed everywhere, sex everywhere, cussing everywhere, knives and guns everywhere, folk beating on folks and throwing down, blood everywhere. It was an everyday normalcy for me. And when I found out what real normalcy was, I'm like, really? I don't got to live like that? What? Yes. Yeah. It's a combination of both.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. I know what you're saying. We do what we know. So if we grow up with emotional support and learning to connect with other people and secure attachments, then that's what we grow into. Yeah. If we grow up with violence and difficulty and fear, then that's what we have to share with the world until we learn different. Yeah.
And some of us never unlearn those horrid behaviors because we take them over into other relationships. And I had to learn, because my current boyfriend is like, why are you like that in this area? You're so lovely in these other areas, but this particular area, I'm having a time with you. Maybe you need to call your pastor. Maybe you need to call your priest. Maybe you need to call the Pope. Maybe it's a demon. I'm just saying. And I'm like, I got all this other wonderful stuff going on, but this one or two areas I'm still sick in, and I still struggling, so now I don't mind defacing so that I can get the help that I need, so that I won't, run another one away, or maybe run them away for the other one to come. Who knows? So.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a process, and
it is.
The thing about, I have some early life trauma too, and that, we're really good at compartmentalizing, and we put all the difficult stuff over here in a cupboard, and we shut that door and lock it. Mm-hmm. And so we have to heal these little blocks one step at a time.
And sometimes, you just have to take, that's why I like having a therapist. That's why I like going to the doctor. I don't mind talking to my therapist, and I'm like that hour and a half I had with him. Oh boy, that's like a straight shot of gin to me, to make me feel happy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it does the job. Good.
he does the job.
Excellent question from Diane K. Chrysanda, rather. Pearlie, I am an advocate for individuals who are incarcerated. I plan to visit those in jail. Can you recommend a training to assist me to interact with them better?
Peer to peer.
Peer to peer. All right. Can't say enough good things about NAMI peer to peer. And again, that's our 8-week class for folks with any kind of mental health challenge. It goes through all the different diagnoses, what they look like, what they feel like, and how we can cope, how we can care for ourselves. Note from Susan, whom you dared to take peer to peer. She says, thank you, dare accepted. Thank you for that message. Pearlie, can you share about the book you were writing?
No.
Right.
Only thing I'm going to tell you is that it's biblical, and it's tedious. I'm going to do my own autobiography later on before I turn 65, because I'm going to live to see 80. But before I turn 65, I'm going to write that autobiography. But right now, I can't leak it. That book is it's biblical. That's the only thing I'm going to say.
All right. So you're going to have to wait for the publication date and come back for that Thursdays with NAMI when we have Pearlie, the author, award-winning advocate. Another question from Amritari. Do you have a favorite NAMI program?
I love them all, but it's in our own voice.
All right. And that's the one
voice.
That makes sense. That's where you're kind of a shining star. Of course, NAMI in our own voice is where folks with any kind of mental health challenge story, a difficult story, tell their story. And it's educational. It, makes it clear that real people, we have all these scary ideas about what is mental illness. It's a real person with a story. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Wow. From Gary Kreitz, Pearlie, when the Lord finally takes you home, what do you hope people remember about you?
My smile. My smile. And the fact that I was a fighter. No matter what, Gary, I fight for justice for people that suffer with mental health issues. And even in the midst of the tears, I'm a smile because I know for a fact that I'm a winner, helping to fight for those that don't have a voice. And that's what they have. I want to leave the legacy that you still have to fight for the voiceless. You have to fight for the voiceless, for those that don't have a voice or feel that they're too afraid to even speak up about what's going on within themselves. And you can see something going on and you want to reach out and lend a hand to those. You still have to do what you got to do, but smile through the tears and continue to keep going, no matter what.
Note from Patience, your smile is a memorable one. I got to agree with her there. And many other agreements there. Beautiful smile. If you see someone without a smile, give them yours. One of my favorite quotes from Patience. Amritari, thank you for your comments. We are closing in on 8:30. This particular episode has flown by for me. I knew it would be a good one. Pearlie, you're a joy to have here and to speak with, as always.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a few announcements. If you have another question, you've got a few minutes to get it in. Next week, we're featuring an author named Alyssa Vine Hodge. She's a Raleigh resident and an author of The Sense About Madness, a raw look at child abuse, sexual violence, and mental illness, which one critic described as incredibly brave, thoughtful, and intensely personal story of a survivor. So another light topic next week. Also, after this show, when you close out, you'll see a survey about this show. If you want to give Pearlie some feedback, thank her for her story. If you want to give us some feedback on how we might improve, please fill out that survey. It helps us more than you can know. And okay, I do see some other questions coming up. Oh, from Barb, you have answered the question about fear. We can smile at fear, Pearlie. Nice, very wise. Pearlie, what is your favorite season and why?
Y'all will not believe this, but it's in June, July, the week after the 4th of July, when I get to go meet all of my Caucasian brothers and sisters at the beach, because I get a chance to go to the beach, baby. I like the beginning of the summer because I get a chance to go and show off all this beautiful darkness and all that lightness. I get to, I really do. Black is beautiful, baby. And I'm grateful to be this deeply chocolate and to have wonderful people around me that don't look at my outer skin, but look at the innerness of my heart and know that I love them, and having a family that is not the same skin tone as me. So I'm grateful for that. And yeah, summer is my favorite time of the year, my favorite place in the world to be. You want to catch me flying after I leave this earth. You'll catch me flying over the sea at the beach. Yeah, that's where you can catch Pearlie. So.
That is a wonderful thing. I don't think we have any more questions, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Again, thank you so much for all that you've shared with us and for being so inspiring. This has been a lovely conversation. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate y'all as well. Thank you.
All right, so everyone in the weeks ahead, go where you need to go, do what you need to do. Please be safe, social distance. Join us next week. I can't wait to see you. Have a great night.
Good night.
All right.